We start a new series, How Do Expert Manages It? We invite an expert faculty to give their views on one particular subject. It will be very useful to the practicing gynecologist. So please watch this video. Now since it is available on the YouTube, you can watch it whenever the time permits you. Our today's topic is ultrasound in pregnancy. It will be presented by Dr. Kuntal Jadeja. Dr. Kuntal Jadeja is a senior gynecologist of Rajkot, expertise in ultrasonography and fetal medicine. She has done fellowship in fetal medicine from Paras Advanced Center for Fetal Medicine at Ahmedabad. She has done ICOG fellowship in fetal medicine. She has been trained at St. George University Hospital at King's College Hospital, London. At present, she is director at Dr. Kuntal's Advanced Center for Fetal Medicine at Narayani Hospital, Rajkot.
Hello my dear friends and colleagues. Hope you all are in good health and ready to hear me talk about ultrasound in pregnancy. Now with relatively new field of fetal medicine is in the picture. So let's see how can we utilize the benefit this field has to offer for better management of our patients. I think for better pregnancy management and documentation, we should have at least this many scans. First is early pregnancy scan at around 6 to 8 weeks or on patient's first visit. Then 11 to 13 weeks scan, also called anti-scan or genetic scan. Then 18 to 20 weeks scan, anomaly or TIFA scan. Then at 24 weeks for fetal echo and CNS review in some specific conditions. Then 30 to 32 weeks for growth, Doppler, and also some late appearing anomalies. Then at 36 to 38 weeks if you are suspecting late FGR. Now let's see all scan one by one. Early pregnancy scan. As I have already told, it is done at around 6 to 8 weeks pregnancy or on patient's first visit to our clinic in early first trimester. It can be done by patient's own OBGYN consultant but should be properly documented. The importance of this scan is for pregnancy dating, establishing viability, and also ruling out ectopic or heterotopic pregnancy and multiple pregnancy. Important points to note here are: before taking CRL, define fetal pole clearly and correct the EDD if the difference is more than or equal to 3 days. For cardiac activity, only use M mode, no color Doppler. And also mention yolk sac with size when seen. Sometimes when we see a beautiful G-sac with good fetal pole and cardiac activity and we are in heavy OPD, we remove the probe and forget to see the adnexas. But never forget to see both adnexas for any mass or cyst or heterotopic pregnancy. And in multiple pregnancy, chronicity should also be mentioned. Now let's see about 11 to 13 plus 6 week scan. This is really very important scan as it gives us so much information at relatively early gestational age. So all pregnant women under our care should get its benefit. What we do here? If patient has missed the early pregnancy scan, we will date the pregnancy. In case of multiple pregnancy, define the chronicity. We will do the risk assessment for trisomy 21, 18 and 13. Which is the main purpose of this scan. FMF software will give us the modified risk with the help of CRL, NT, NB, GV, TR and heart rate measurement. And we will get the new adjusted risk, which either can be low risk, moderate risk or high risk. What is moderate risk? It is between 1 gem 100 to 1 gem 1000. If it is more than that, then it is high risk, and if it is less than that, then it is low risk, and then we can guide the patient accordingly. This also gives us the risk for preeclampsia and IUGR with the help of mean uterine artery PI, mean arterial blood pressure and maternal characteristic. And if we find that it is high risk, that means more than 1 gram 100, we can add tablet Ecosprin 150 mg at bedtime till 36 weeks, which will decrease the preterm preeclampsia risk to up to 85%. Then with the help of this software, we can also get the risk for preterm delivery with the help of cervical length or any previous history of preterm delivery. Here at 11 to 13 weeks, with the help of good resolution machine and high frequency probe, anatomy of fetus is very well seen. So we can rule out many major structural malformation at this gestational age also. This is one sample report for 11 to 13 plus 6 weeks scan. Here you can see this is the risk assessment for trisomy 21, 18, 13. This is age-related risk, and then this is modified or adjusted risk, which has been modified with the help of NT, NB, DV, TR and heart rate. This also gives us the risk assessment for preeclampsia, FGR and preterm delivery. This software is free to download from FMF website after you submit your images after doing the online course. It is very important to counsel the patient regarding the first trimester screening, because it is a screening test for these 3 trisomies, not a diagnostic test. For that, you can give some information material regarding the method of scan and also regarding the diseases concerned, which patient can read beforehand. Then you do the scan, and when you give the report, you can again counsel the patient and explain the report. Double marker and NIPT both have screening tests for trisomy 21, 18 and 13, but double marker alone has detection rate up to 70 to 75% and NIPT up to 99%. But if we combine our first trimester ultrasound screening for these trisomies with double marker, then we can get the detection rate up to 95%. But we have to combine the biochemistry in our software, enter it in our software and get the combined risk. So in moderate risk patient, which is between 1 gram 100 to 1 gram 1000, we can patient can go for either double marker or NIPT depending upon her choice and affordability, and with that report we can categorize this patient, modify the risk of this moderate risk patient to either high risk or low risk, and then further proceed. Invasive testing. Invasive testing is done between 11 to 14 weeks by CVS or chorionic venous sampling, and after 16 weeks amniocentesis. Between 14 to 16 weeks, there is no invasive test done. Invasive testing is done if there is high risk for these trisomies, or patient wants confirmation only, or if there is some genetic disorders running in families with specific genes defined. 18 to 20 weeks anomaly scan or TIFA scan. If there are any condition seen in 11 to 13 week scan which requires the patient to come for early anomaly scan, then we have to call the patient at 16 to 17 weeks, otherwise 18 to 20. This is mainly done to detect any structural malformation. So anatomical survey of fetus is done from head to toe. You should have some defined protocols to follow in this scan. That in this system you will see this many things minimum. If you have this protocol and follow in each and every patient, it is very less likely that you may miss any major structural malformation. The other thing we look for is the soft markers, and with the help of soft markers we will modify the risk of T21. And if you have Astrea-like software, it will give us the combined risk of first trimester plus second trimester. We will also be seeing the mean uterine artery PI, which will give us an idea about the placentation, And if mean uterine artery PI is high, then it means there is improper placentation, and which may lead to preeclampsia like complication. We may add echosprin, but it will be less helpful now. Then also cervical length and placental position. Here is the sample report for second trimester anomaly scan. Here we have described the anatomy we have studied. Here is the soft markers and the combined risk of first trimester and second trimester screening for trisomy 21. Here is the cervical length with preterm delivery risk. Then this is the mean uterine artery PI, and this is the combined report. Here you have to counsel the patient that although we have tried our best, there are some anomalies which will be missed by ultrasound, like analectasia, tracheoesophageal fistula, and there are some anomalies which will be developed and detected in later gestational age, like skeletal dysplasia, lissencephaly, etc. Now a scan done at 24 weeks. It is mainly done for fetal echo and CNS review. It should be done in some high-risk population and some specific conditions, like in diabetic mother, previous children with some congenital anomalies of heart or CNS, obese patient, then some borderline finding in 18-week scan which requires the follow-up at 24 weeks, then some soft markers which requires fetal echo like echogenic cardiac foci, ARSA, etc. Third trimester scan, which is done at around 30 to 32 weeks. The main aim is to assess the fetal growth. Is it appropriate for the gestational age, less or large for gestational age? If it is growing appropriate for gestational age, then we can advise her for regular ANC and delivery care. But if it is appearing to be less, means expected fetal weight is less than 10 centile, and if it is not associated with Doppler abnormalities, then we will label it as a constitutionally small or small for gestational age. But if expected fetal weight is less than 10 centile and also there is associated color Doppler abnormalities, then we have to monitor that fetus and maybe deliver earlier. What we do in multivessel Doppler, we will do both the uterine, umbilical artery, middle cerebral artery, aortic isthmus and ductus venosus. We will also do Likert assessment, and with this both help we will decide about the proper timing of delivery for fetal growth restricted fetus. We will assess the placental position also, and is it low lying or not. If there is anterior low-lying placenta in case of previous CS, we also have to rule out any signs of adherent placenta. And we also do review anomaly scan at this juncture to rule out late appearing anomalies or if any anomalies missed in the second trimester. This is one sample report for third trimester scan, which shows the expected fetal weight, which is normal, and this is the multivessel Doppler. Chart is very good method to see for the growth pattern. Then after 36 weeks, you can repeat the fetal Doppler if you are suspecting late appearing FGR, or if patient is complaining of less fetal movement, then you can repeat the Doppler. 3D, 4D in ultrasound. I think 2D and 3D are like yin and yang. They both are complementary to each other for diagnosis and management of the patient, and I really like to take advantage of this technology in diagnosis of some anomalies as well as demonstration of normal anatomy to the patient, like face, legs, limbs, etc. And whenever you have some anomaly, you can store the data in 3D, 4D volume and then do the post-analysis, post-capture analysis, which is very helpful in many cases. color Doppler in ultrasound. I am a huge fan of this technology as it helps us to diagnose the condition of fetus in utero. Is it in good environment or not? And if in utero environment is not good, which we can analyze with growth and color Doppler study in third trimester, then we have to take it out. In addition to this, it's used in anti-scan like for DV, TR, uterine artery, and also in anomaly scan for heart, renal artery, and rule out single umbilical artery, agenesis of corpus callosum, etc. Now some important points in short for some specific conditions. For monochorionic pregnancy, from 16 weeks, monitor pregnancy with every 2 weekly visit with expected fetal weight, Doppler and AFI. And for dichorionic, from 22 weeks, monitor pregnancy with 2 weekly assessment. In case of Rh negative mother and Rh positive father, do ICT on first visit, then repeat ICT every month. Or else you can monitor MCA PSV in each ANC visit after 20 weeks. Give NTD prophylaxis at around 32 weeks if ICT is negative. FGR fetuses requires growth, Doppler monitoring or delivery as per grading of FGR. For Thel minor couple, do gene mutation study of couple on first ANC visit or preconceptional only. So at 13 weeks we can directly study that mutation in the fetus. In the end, I want to thank Dr. Sudhir Shah sir from bottom of my heart for giving me this wonderful opportunity to share my views with all of you. Hope you find it useful in your day-to-day practice. Thank you all for listening to me.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kuntal Jadeja, for your excellent and educative presentations on this very important topic of obstetrics in our day-to-day practice. Please like and share this link to your friends, colleagues and postgraduate students. Please click subscribe for such new videos in this channel. Thank you very much.